So what's good, y'all? What's good? What's good? All right. So I am Coach MJ. A lot of y'all know, of course, that I'm a fitness coach. I've been in the industry for about 12 years. So I'm deep in the game. So something I want to kind of touch on today is something I've noticed since towards the end of this pandemic. A lot of people are starting to revert back to their default self. And what I mean by that, their default self, they're going back to how they were living pre-pandemic. And of course, we need to get back to a sense of normalcy. I understand that. But when I say they're going back to their default self, they're going back to the person they were where they wasn't prepared. They were not prepared for what came with the pandemic. Their health levels were not where they needed to be because a lot of people were eating terrible foods, drinking all the time, not getting adequate amount of sleep, not exercising on a normal basis. So of course, when the pandemic hit out of nowhere, which was a shock to everyone, a lot of people were afraid because they didn't know what it was going to do to their body. And it boils down to the fact that a lot of people were affected by this pandemic, by this virus, because their body could not handle what was about to invade it because their health levels was not up to par. And so a lot of people, of course, during that time did jump on a health kick, which is great. But now, fast forward to today, I've just noticed a lot of people, now that we're back outside, a lot of people are reverting back to their default. And we can't do that. We can't revert back to the default because we saw what that did to us. You know, you gotta stay healthy. You gotta keep feeding yourself the right food. You gotta keep drinking adequate amount of water. You have to keep exercising. We get one body, we get one shot at life, and we don't know how long it's gonna be. All this is temporary, but we don't know how long it's gonna be. But it is in our hands, at least from a health and fitness aspect, to make sure we eat the right foods, make sure we get a good amount of exercise. According to the CDC, we only need 150 minutes a week of exercise. That's literally 2.5 hours a week of exercise. Now, of course, I feel like we need a little bit more than that, but of course, if you want to run with the CDC guidelines, 2.5 hours. There's 168 hours in a week. 168 hours in a week. You have 2.5 hours to work out. You got it. Everybody got it. I don't care how busy you claim that you are. You have 2.5 hours to go for a walk throughout the week. That's literally, you can break that up into 30 minutes a day and you can get in a walk. You have 2.5 hours in a week to go to the gym or work out at home and do some body weight or strength training exercises. Everybody got it. But the fact of the matter is, we make excuses because it's not a priority. It ain't that you don't have time, it's not a priority to you until something happens. And then when something happens, then you want to fight to get your health back. The old saying is, if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. So if you keep your health right, you ain't got to worry about trying to get it right when things go wrong. You got to stay on it. Like I said, you get one life and you got to make the best out of it. You got to make sure you're going through it feeling good. You got to go through it feeling vibrant. You got to go through life with your best foot forward. There's no excuse, no reason to not eat the right foods. And I know it's a thing of convenience to run to a fast food restaurant. It's a thing of convenience because you think you're getting a deal because the food is cheap, but you're not really getting a deal. And actually, I was having this conversation with a client yesterday. You're not getting a deal because the food on the menu at a fast food joint is cheap. You're going to pay for it down the road. You're going to pay for it with your health down the road if you're eating fast food on a normal basis. Now, going there every once in a blue moon, every once in a while, that's fine. It's not a big deal. Every once in a while. But if you're eating fast food and you're feeding it to yourself and your family every day, you're not getting the deal because you're paying a few bucks here and there. You're going to pay for it later down the road. I guarantee you that. Because all that food, all the preservatives, is just tearing your insides up. It's just depositing this fat. It's killing the good bacteria in your gut, feeding the bad bacteria, and just breeding diseases, breeding illnesses. So again, 168 hours out of the day, out of the week, all it takes is 2.5 hours a week to exercise. You got the time. You may not feel like it, but since when did feelings ever get you where you needed to get since when did feelings ever get you to the place that you needed to be? Hardly ever. In most cases, never. You gotta reshift. You gotta shift your mind. You gotta shift your paradigm, because the path you're going down now, the pattern that you're currently taking, is not working. And I know this ain't for everybody, but for those that know they're not doing what they should be doing from a nutritional standpoint, from a fitness standpoint, physical health standpoint, from a cognitive health standpoint, reading the proper materials, reading books. You got to feed your brain too. You got to exercise your brain. For those that know they're not doing it because they feel like, well, I don't have time to do this, I don't have time to do that, you have time. You 100% have time. You can work 60 hours a week, sit in traffic 2 hours a day, sleep 8 hours a day, eat, have leisure time, and you will still have 2.5 hours to spend on yourself, to self-care. Self-care is health-care. Self-love. That's self-love, taking care of self, feeding yourself the proper nutrients, exercising on a regular basis, reading the right material to feed your brain, making sure that you're not constantly listening to junk and watching filth and just bad TV all the time. You have to feed yourself. You have to take care of yourself. We get one shot at this thing called life. We don't know how long it is. One shot. You get one body. You can replace everything else in life. You can replace your car. You can replace your house. You can replace your clothes. You can replace all your toys, your little whatever you're into. All that stuff is replaceable. You get one body. That's it. This is your temple. That's it. Keep it clean. Do the best you can with it. Again, Coach MJ, just trying to shed some light on some stuff that I've kind of witnessed. Let's not default. Let's not default. Let's not go back to where we were. We're supposed to be progressing. We're supposed to be evolving. Keep moving forward. We don't go back. We're not the pre-pandemic. Those days are done. This is a new day. We have to keep moving. This is showing us a new light of what could happen if we're not prepared. What could happen to our health if we're not prepared? What can happen to our finances if we're not prepared? There was a lesson in this whole situation. A whole lesson in this pandemic. There was a lesson to be learned. A lot of us did get it, and I applaud every single one that did get it, the lesson, but some people didn't. And they went right back. They went right back to the default. Let's get out that default. Create a new default. If we want to do default, let's create a new one that's beyond the one that was pre-pandemic. All right? Best foot forward. You got to keep moving. All right?